stuff's been going on. We have been rolling crazy on the entanglements. So probably the most important right now is that Karakon came to visit us again, and he put his eyeballs in my face. So now I have demon eyes, so I can see all your weaknesses, which is great. But the downside is that my eyes are kind of possessed, and I seem to be spying for him actively now. Everywhere I go, my eyes are constantly, like, moving involuntarily toward various cool things. Some of which are very obviously cool, some of which are a little bit less so. So that's been fun and interesting. The last time we played, the last couple times, I've been working pretty hardcore on tracking down this ghost, which I think is going to be very interesting to you, because he is the ghost. The ghost I'm supposed to get is the ghost of this famous scientist, an inventor, who helped build Lightning Rail, and may have helped build walls that are around the Deathlands. We know that the Immortal Emperor actually built those walls, but it's believed, it's not commonly known, but if you track down your historical sources well enough, you'll find people who will say that this guy consulted on the project, which is very interesting for a lot of reasons. But we went to the Ghost Passage version of his workshop at the Lightning Rail Depot when it was still under construction. We had a run-in there. It was actually fairly uneventful, but we did wind up finding and capturing a ghost. Not his ghost. This was the ghost of his assistant, or one of his assistants, who seems to have a grudge against him. Didn't think he was getting enough credit on a project, sounded like, or, just general, like, subordinate griping. But he says his kind of, like, piece of information that he dropped, which I admit I don't know enough about the technology in this world to totally understand the import of it, but it's clearly extremely crazy and weird, and therefore right in our wheelhouse, is that the Lightning Rail, he says, is powered by ghosts. There are ghosts, or in some way, there are ghosts being trapped in the rails. And that is somehow the source of how the Lightning Rails work. That's not something that I previously knew. I don't know enough to know if that's a thing that's commonly known among, like, actual scientists or engineers in this world, but I don't think it's something that's commonly known by your average Joe who's riding the train. And it really freaked me out. So anyway, we now have that ghost in a bottle. I probably would like to take it to my cult, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to have some say on that first, because this guy, he brought all of his research notes with him, and he into his ghost bottle, and he's ready to talk. Because I persuaded him that he could, ruin his boss's, like, afterlife reputation, basically.
Right, obviously.
Beans on it. And the last thing I think that I have to share is that, so this famous scientist, whose nickname is Bliss, that we're supposed to be tracking down, I didn't manage to attune successfully enough to figure out exactly where he is, but I did make an attune roll that was successful enough to determine that his spirit is bound to his hands, which were cut off after death, it seems, and put into some kind of a fancy wooden box. And the only real directional thing that I could get is that they are very far away from here. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means across the ocean, or if that means on the other side of town. I have no sense of the range on that. But if you were able, I think you would have a lot better chance of doing some kind of ghost tracking thing than I would. So if you're willing to help out with that.
That does seem to be right in Dredge's wheelhouse based on some session. I can't remember how many ago it was, but when he trapped the ghost.
Yeah, exactly. And you, yeah, I guess when we were hunting the spirit knife. And again, like this...
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, when was the last time anybody saw Dredge? Like, I don't even know.
We've kind of been hand-waving that you, like, just totally went off on some kind of weird, like, research mission, and everyone's kind of accepted that...
The thing that stuck out that, like, I'm kind of picturing, like, you guys were looking for this ghost, and, like, you haven't seen Dredge in a while, and then he just, like, opens a door that you didn't notice, and he's just, like, there. I'm picturing, you know the scene in Back to the Future where Doc Brown comes out with the weird contraption on his head?
Yes.
Definitely.
Like, I'm picturing Dredge just comes out of, like, a closet, like, covered in weird, like, arcane gear, and he's like, I found him.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And we're just
It's your children! It's your children!
Like two ghosts. It's like 2 ghosts ago. We're not even on the right ghost.
Very nice. You're like, guys, the readings are off the chain. He's here in the building with us. And we're like, who? And you're like, that one that's in the bottle.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you guys went off and got him or something when Dredge was off in a closet doing research.
Totally. So anyway, so that's everything I have to update. I guess I'll turn it over to Ogre, who also had some major developments.
Well, Suri's update covered, I think, the end of 2 sessions ago and last session.
Yeah. So the first thing to note is that or something that Suri probably isn't paying a lot of attention to, but Ogre definitely is that her crazy demon eyes also still look like they're smoldering.
Cool.
Isn't that correct, Max?
Oh,
like
yes. I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll show you exactly what they look like.
Yeah, I have glowing eyes now.
She has literally the same eyes as this guy.
Yeah.
And there's
super
smoke
unnerving.
Still occasionally escaping from behind the eyeballs. He burned her eyes out of her head first.
Yeah. Which she was able to recover from thanks to, in addition to getting those eyes, she also got some basically miracle elixir. That when she drank from it, it cured all of her wounds instantaneously.
Right, and I still have 2 doses of that. Yeah, there was no... it cured, like, 100% all of my harms were gone.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was really awesome and also really terrifying. But yeah, so we did manage to finish. I believe the last time that you were with us was we were in the middle of the score trying to sabotage the Bluecoats.
Oh right.
Yeah. So
I remember shooting lightning at a steam engine and it not working so well.
It didn't work out so well. But we did manage to get out of that mission, and we did successfully pin it on the Spirit Wardens.
Nice.
Yes. Although apparently through a devil's bargain, you tried to help by summoning a ghost, and that didn't work out super well.
I don't remember a lot of details.
But yeah,
but that sounds like a thing.
Yeah. But yeah, so we managed to get out of there through some of the ghost passages. And we ended up questioning the guy and talking to him, and if I'm not mistaken, Suri was able to extract a favor out of him, potentially. And she wanted him to go and blow up the cult of the Burned King.
Whoa.
Yes. Yeah, I got him promised to give us a favor, and he's a demolitionist, so I thought that would be good thing to put him
Yeah,
on.
screw those guys.
Yeah.
Ventress Keel, aka Sparrow.
Right, yes.
Revolutionary against the Empire, the Imperium.
Yeah, so that name does sound familiar, so at least I must have heard something about that guy.
You were there for half of that score.
Yeah.
That was also very successful in mollifying the Foghounds, which was the point behind that score.
Mm-hmm. And we were also able to leverage our success in that score to make Mr. Raven our contact with the Unseen, to have him become our patron. So now when we want to rank up to tier 2, that'll only cost us half the amount of coin.
But we still aren't like confirmed as associates or whatever with them.
Not quite yet. It's not. We still haven't fully impressed the Unseen, but we have impressed Mr. Raven. So we've got that going for us. Then we had the meeting with Karakhan that Suri already mentioned, and the only other thing of note that happened on the job from last week was that while Suri was doing that attunement in order to try to find the ghost she's really after, and discovered that the ghost is inside of his hands, her shadow came to life, and it turned out to be a rage-filled spirit of one of Ogre's friends from the boat from Scotland. And the ghost attacked the both of us, but Suri was able to actually drive it off with a ghost cattle prod.
Okay.
She picked that up in a flashback.
Yeah. But yeah, and so her ogre is pretty confident at this point that Horkfrost, the guy or the Scovlander that we worked with to get the information on the Cult of the Burned King, we're pretty sure that he's now working with probably the Dimmer Sisters, but maybe somebody else, in order to get to us. Because we pissed him off in an entanglement at one point or another.
Oh, okay. Because like we gave them the documents, right? Like
we did, and then
finish that job.
Yeah, and then he started screwing over Scovlanders, like he was charging them to get their documents back and creating forgeries and stuff. And so when we had an opportunity to screw him, we did.
Got it.
Because Ogre took that job on good faith kind of thing, and was not happy about the way he was handling it.
And Ogre tends to be kind of mad and fly off the handle.
Yes, that does tend to happen. So, yeah. And then I think that pretty much covers it.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, one other thing regarding Ogre's personal life. He's basically offered some of his stash to his ex-wife in order to make sure that he can continue to have access to seeing Sarah, his daughter. So there is less possibility that she's just going to straight up deny him access to her at this point.
As long as the money keeps coming in, essentially.
Yeah. So that's why you'll see a clock now that Mara takes out coin.
Yep, saw that.
All right. So after a lengthy research project, Matt, is there a long-term project that you would like to get a tick on or start as Dredge?
Well, so this might be a good time. You know how I'd been talking about like changing up Dredge's Vice and stuff like that. This might be a good time to say he kind of went off and, I don't know, essentially changed up some of that stuff in downtime.
Okay.
Yeah, there's probably something useful long-term project-wise. So the last full score he was on there was the knife thing, and then there was the trying to electrocute a steam engine thing, and he
disrupting the canal patrols by
right.
Picking up a revolutionary and setting him loose.
Right. Oh, right. That's why I remember the guy's name, because we were trying to like break him out.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing he had going on was all the stuff with the demons and trying to like appease, or in his mind, balance the scales between Satara and Karakhan. And there was a whole big spiel with that. But yeah, I don't, off the top of my head, maybe he kind of, after all that craziness, like, no, he's reckless. He wouldn't like dial it back a step. That's not his deal. Let me, I like the idea that he just kind of pops out of a closet.
Sure.
And we don't really know what he's been up to, but he was trying to do something useful, and it may or may not have actually been useful. And I'll come up with maybe something he had done in the downtime after.
Okay.
I haven't been thinking about it, unfortunately, so.
Okay. Well, let me know what how he's changing his vice, etc.
Yeah. I mean, would you be okay with saying that, like, he was off doing vice-related things, and he just comes back with, like, his stress is cleared, but he didn't make any progress on any long-term stuff?
Sure.
Okay, let's just do that.
Dredge has been engaging in some kind of debauchery. We don't exactly know what yet. But he has arrived with wild eyes, his hair sticking up in every direction. And
it's probably not clear, but he's got a huge new back tattoo and everything, like.
Oh yes, a complex tattoo twisting around his spine, demon hands, perhaps.
We had talked about that at one point, so that probably has happened.
Well, that's healed up finally. Okay. So last time, we ended things with you guys rolling entanglements after completing that score, wherein you captured a ghost with information. So, I'll let you guys decide. When do you want the... and you have a lot of heat, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
I recall that. When do you want the entanglement to trigger?
So, before the entanglement triggers, for sure, we want to figure out the payoff. Because we did not do coin and stuff, because we were wanting to talk to the ghost, and you said our payoff would depend a lot on that conversation.
An excellent point. So... you arrive back at the lair, and this table here with the candles, the papers, some coins scattered around, a knife, and just as Suri pulls out the bottle of silvery ectoplasm, swirling and changing with this eerie pale glow, sets that down on the table. Dredge shows up, his hair in disarray, wearing some kind of new contraption, just in time to join in the fun.
I'll just sort of stare in bewilderment.
I kind of liked what you had said earlier, that he's like, I found him. He's right here. We're looking for, what's the guy's name that we're searching for?
Bliss?
No, the one you actually found, the apprentice guy.
That's a good question.
Oh, we don't know his name?
I don't. That doesn't mean you don't.
Someone
Alright.
close to Bliss. I've tracked his ghost. He's here.
Excellent.
Dredge,
Yeah.
I think you mean that ghost? And I'm just going to point to the spirit bottle that's literally in Suri's hands right now.
Dredge will, like, adjust some knobs on his weird headgear and, like, take a step to the left and then, like, take a step to the right and, like, aha. And then he just, like, turns it off and, like, dumps it in the corner. This whole, like, contraption. Good job, team.
I personally am very curious to know what day you think it is.
Dredge, would you roll me a fortune roll based on your attune, please?
I'm trying to think what Dredge's response would be about the day, because, like, I don't even know what calendar or anything we use in this setting. It's the 37th of March.
There is a calendar, but I can't be bothered to look it up right now.
I'm trying to remember how to do a fortune roll there.
Take a moment.
You said based on a tune?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that happened.
Welcome back, Dredge.
He's been very fortuitous.
Thank you.
Is there some follow-up to that, or should we just continue the scene?
Check the chat. But there is no follow-up. Continue the scene.
Okay. So yeah, I guess Dredge will kind of try to reach out to the ghost in the bottle a little bit.
Okay.
See if
Are
he
you
can
cool with that, Suri?
learn anything.
That the bottle you just
Oh.
sit down on the
Absolutely.
table?
No, I'll hand him the bottle if he wants it.
Yeah. I mean, he just kind of dumps his complex, whatever the hell he built, in the corner and kind of walks over and...
All right. Do you see the message I sent you?
No, I don't. That's why I was confused.
That's
In
weird.
what chat program?
In Roll20.
What? Is it in, like, general chat, or is there a direct messaging in Roll20 that I don't know about?
I can whisper to you a message that no one else can see. I
It
was
should just
trying to
appear
be
in
subtle
general
about
chat.
it, but I failed.
Well, I mean, or I'm failing because I have no idea where to look. But it's not showing
It should be in
regular
general.
chat.
It should be in regular chat.
Yeah, just underneath your fortune roll is where it would be.
Yeah, there is nothing in between my fortune roll and what I just typed in my
Weird.
screen.
You are the player of Dredge, are you not?
I think well.
You might.
As
You might.
much as any of us.
Yeah, we've all got control of all of the characters as it currently is.
So then why can't you all see the Whisper?
I don't
Good
know.
question.
Um,
Whoa, that showed up.
Alright. There is only one Matt. But speaking to Dredge confused it.
Interesting.
You now hold somebody's essence, the echo of what they once were, in your very hand, Dredge. A tingling feeling of power and eerie control that never gets old.
So, am I able to just kind of speak to the bottle, or do I have to attune to be able to communicate with the ghost?
I would let you speak to the bottle. We haven't really established exactly how it works, but I think Suri, who bottled this, would certainly carry a bottle that would allow echoes to whisper out of it.
Yeah, preferably. Well, also, I think I got... I can't remember if I got this bottle from my cult. If they gave it to me or if I used my own. But regardless, yeah.
So what has he told you so far?
How much he hates Bliss. And also, a little fact about how there are ghosts trapped in the lightning rail. And somehow that's how they work.
A pale face floats to one side in the bottle, looking around with a blank, curious sort of expression.
He brought all of his research notes with him. They're in here. And I just kind of point at the bottle.
At the bottle?
Yeah. He grabbed some ghostly notes and tucked them under his arm and jumped in the bottle.
The face looks down at something as if reading something. Inside, like pressed against the glass, this very pale young man's face, weirdly distorted by the glass.
Has he said if he knows where to find this?
I don't think he does, but I have some clues. It seems that Bliss's ghost has been tied to his hands, which are kept in a box. A fancy wooden box. Somewhere not here.
So Dredge kind of holds the bottle up closer and says, Gordonai, why do you hate your former teacher?
Who's there? Professor, is that you?
I am a professor. I don't believe we've met, though.
That was the echo that he was trapped in when we caught him. He seems to actually be interrupted in the middle of, well, writing this. And I show you a little handwritten piece of note that has, a little piece of paper that has a bunch of nasty notes about Bliss scribbled into the margins.
What is the actual content of the note, other than the nasty notes?
I believe that it's like a little scrap of...
Sorry, I lost part of that. A scrap of what?
Bliss's research notes.
Oh, okay.
But it's only like a small, like one little note. It's not enough to really be able to make much of it, as far as I could tell.
I'm trying to decide how much I want to do with trying to figure out his research and stuff right now versus like actually, like, what are we trying to accomplish? Dredge has been kind of off on his own, doing weird shit.
Well,
I mean, my priority personally is still to find Bliss's ghost. But I figured that your character would be interested in
Right.
talking to this.
So,
And I am
so yeah,
I am kind of intrigued by like this bombshell that he dropped about the ghosts being trapped in the lightning rail. That, I mean, I'm getting kind of a Soylent Green vibes from that.
I'm getting a Warhammer 40k Souls for the Immortal Emperor's Throne kind of vibe from it. So, like the Spirit Wardens do collect ghosts, you'll recall.
Yeah, there's that. But the
So,
lightning rail actually being powered by ghosts seems like it's a next level.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. I'm just trying to decide if Dredge continues to like interrogate him offline versus right now in scene. Dredge will kind of shake the bottle a little bit and be like, "Gornai, can you hear me?"
Who's there? You know my name.
Yes. I would like to study your research.
My research. Oh, this is the promotion. This is
Yes.
she was talking about.
I believe you know more than Bliss, and I would like to work with you. Dredge is clearly not great at lying.
He's a genius, a visionary.
What did the scribbled notes actually say about him? Like, Dredge would like want to use one of whatever's in the scribbled notes, like to try to like. I guess is this a consort role?
I'm afraid I can't remember what the specific. Can I just hand him the paper?
Yeah, I'm just sort of hand waving here. Like, I would like to sort of buddy up to this ghost by acting like, you know, another disregarded academic, you know, toiling away at someone else getting all the credit and whatnot, and see if I can make friends with him that way.
Okay. Well, since you know his name and are certainly know how to get along with, or rather, you know what it feels like to be a disregarded academic.
Oh, definitely.
I guess I am.
Just all the colleagues listen to him.
So that was the use of your attune fortune roll.
Okay.
This is going to be an action roll. You say you're using consort, so
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
and given all these circumstances, go ahead and make an action roll. The position will be controlled, and the effect will be great.
It's worth noting, Dredge has no points in consort. So,
Well, then this is going to be entertaining.
Would either of you like to assist or offer a devil's bargain?
Let me check my
You know,
stress.
to get me up from
Devil's
0 dice to 1.
Yeah,
I'm-
I'm afraid I
I
can't
have-
assist you.
Yeah, I'm one stress away from taking a trauma as well.
Oh, jeez.
We were
Okay.
kind of burning through stress. Oh, also I got my first trauma. I'm haunted now.
Ooh, welcome to the club.
Thank you.
I would say that Gurnai's whether you succeed or not, Gurnai is Gurnai will talk about something that he wasn't going, that he doesn't want to, and he's going to give you an extra piece of information and withhold an extra piece of information.
I think so. Given that's not like super exciting and hard to kind of reason about, I think I'll just stick with the total random chance here, and because like it's not like Dredge is not trying that hard either.
Sure.
He's just like kind of doing this like half-assed, neglected academic spiel.
All right.
So let's just see how this goes. Okay.
Take the lowest result, but they're both the most interesting possible result.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 4. Any 4 has got to be worse than a 5 somehow, right?
Nope. Not
No?
inherently.
Nope, they're
No,
the same. That's why I say, like, it should just all be 5s. But, alright.
This guy is now Dredge's best friend and won't leave him alone.
Dredge, you feel, not only is he your best friend and very eager to talk, but the energy that this entity is pushing forth from the bottle, if this conversation continues, is going to be strong enough. You can feel it gathering power. It's going to be strong enough to ring the bells in a faraway tower. And those sensitive enough will sense its presence.
He's giving off ghost waves. Or ghost radiation or something.
I guess Dredge might think of it that way.
Yeah, well, he would put it through some kind of scientific lens, right?
Absolutely.
I would. So that's kind of interesting because that was sort of the thing that he had started the research project ages ago to try to prevent that sort of detection. So I think he's going to try to resist it. I just don't know exactly how. Like, maybe he, like, quickly, like, moves the jar, like, into another room where he's, like, got this, like, half-built, like, contraption.
Okay, that's sure.
He's just, like, he just quickly turns and, like, puts this thing, like
that will
I'm picturing,
be
like a bread box or something that's covered in wires and craziness.
That will be an insight resist.
That's just you click on the insight label,
I
right?
think so.
Okay, 2 stress. He like definitely like trips over some things and probably it's like half. It doesn't work yet, so he probably like electrocutes himself a little bit trying to turn it on.
There's definitely a moment there where Dredge indicates to you guys, like, this is about to become a spirit field beacon in our new hideout.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should move this conversation.
Well, at this point, Dredge has run out of the room holding it and, like, put it in, like, this weird closet. So we did move it, essentially.
Okay. So
From
with
now
the
on, we should really conduct all of these things like right outside the Dimmer Sisters.
Well, that's yeah. Well, that's why he had originally wanted to build like the equivalent of like a Faraday cage or something, where he could like do experiments that weren't gonna have that effect. But he's never gotten around to finishing that research.
So as you resist that consequence, it does not come into play, and the energy shifts a little as you change locations and fades somewhat in the face of Dredge's experimental Faraday cage room.
Yeah. It's not
Spirit
probably
field
not that that
cage.
thing actually works yet, but it's probably that like the room also has like a bunch of like Ghostbane charms and things like all over the place. So the like Dredge isn't like sure that it's the device or not, but he moves it to the ghost room essentially.
Who's there? Oh, it's you. I thought it was the professor. Yes. Let's compare notes. I'm sick of being under his thumb. What? What do you want to know?
I'm kind of picturing like a research montage kind of moment here, where there's frantic note taking and like very sort of deep technical conversations that about all sorts of metaphysical nonsense that neither you nor I possess the vocabulary to describe.
Okay.
They have a sort
don't
of
don't be too
research
sure
summit.
of that.
Well, I certainly don't. Let me rephrase that. But yeah, would
So
just-
Dredge is going to talk to him, talk to Gurnai Broken about
learn what he knows about.
Okay, about some of his
whatever
the research he was doing in life.
Yeah, basically, like, you know, in true Dredge fashion, this is no longer about finding bliss, and this is about learning some interesting stuff. So that's why I'm trying to make it so that like we don't have to talk through it, and the other guys can play a little bit too.
Right.
But I do think the thing that Suri was saying earlier, or sorry, Kate was saying earlier about the whether or not that knowledge is commonly known, like about the ghost-powered trains. Like, is that like a knowledge roll to see if Dredge already somehow knew that or suspected that?
Who's there? Oh, it's you. I thought it was the professor. Well, the thing that no one seems to understand is you have to balance the psychic inversion gate. That's the only way to generate the elemental resonance nexus. Not everybody understands that. But people are dying, and they can't let it get out. It's bad, the rails, until we open the harmonic spirit vibration, anybody's spirit could get entangled. And if that happens enough, we could be looking at a situation where we end up opening an asymmetric road storm.
I did turn down the music.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how to respond to any of that, so Dredge is just like taking his own notes, saying like, mm-hmm, yeah, mm-hmm.
Well, he's paused, seeming to... The pale face kind of looks down, looks up. Seems to think he's answered your question.
I'm not sure Dredge asked him a question, but okay. I was asking you, the DM, a question at one point. But...
you said that Dredge was asking about how commonly known.
Well, that's what I was trying to ask you. Is would Dredge have already had knowledge about it?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
You never heard that before, and it's possible that, I mean, you would have assumed that he was speaking metaphorically.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That people
okay,
lost
now...
their lives.
Got it.
I mean, that's not in the spirit of science. And is immoral.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just like trying to think through like what reaction to have here. I'm kind of losing every other word on the internet side.
Oh, even when I'm not doing the voice?
No, it's my shitty setup here.
Okay. Does anyone else want to speak to Gurnai Brogan?
Well, I suppose that I'd like to talk to him and see if I can get some info out of him about, see if I can get him to talk about these hands or this box. I don't know if he would know what types of burial arrangements were made for Bliss, but if he does, yeah, I mean, you know,
Make a fortune roll based on your consort. And of course,
that's a 4.
Of course, since this is downtime, you have additional things available to you, like spending money.
Not really sure I can bribe this guy.
I mean, you could purchase materials, etc. Okay, you got a 4.
Yes. Pritchard took those after the genius died.
Do you know where he took them to?
Clinchamps Pritchard. Some say he was sleeping with the professor.
You know, we do know a Clinchamp. His dice game is how we get in touch with a friend of ours.
Really?
That might be a good place to start.
Well, that's the best lead we've had so far, honestly.
There's more.
Please continue.
According to my research from watching the professor and Pritchard, I think the courier Pritchard I think he's serving an entity from the depths of hell. He took the genius's hands and the corpse had no hands that they buried, and he took them and he put them in a hideously carven box given to him by the demon. All so he could get a little more Black Lotus. And that box, the courier Pritchard sold the box when money ran low, when the drug, when he needed more, and he sold it to a collector. The hideously carven box was sold to the collector. Who's there? Oh, it's you. I thought it was the professor.
Do you know the collector's name?
Ligonier Penderin.
Always with the fucking Penderins, man.
Lord Ligonier Penderin.
Alright, well... Is that the same Lord Penderin that I'm buddies with? Do I? Nope. Do I know his first?
I shook my head, but you wouldn't know that.
Okay. Interesting. Alright. Well, that's about all I need to get out of this guy.
I think we've got some useful leads to track down and also some useful information to sell.
I think so indeed.
Dredge, do you need anything more out of this ghost?
I mean, Dredge will spend as much time as you let him, like, continuing to like, chat with this guy about ghost tech, so to speak.
All right. As far as I'm concerned,
I don't want to keep doing it in scene.
Yeah. You can keep him as long as you like. This isn't the ghost we're looking for, and nobody, as far as I'm aware, currently knows that we have him. Nor am I under the obligation to give him to anybody. So,
and so far we've prevented the spirit wardens from discovering him. But anyway,
Yeah.
so this
So,
is like
yeah, you
Dredge's
can
new buddy.
have.
But yeah, we can jump forward in time. Or sideways, whatever.
Okay. So you are going to try and sell most of this information to some of the spirit traders that you're connected with through your loyal fence.
Mm-hmm. And also, don't forget, we also got the information on that cult for him that he was interested in for the cattle prod, the ghost prod.
Ah. Okay. Did you do that in exchange for something already?
So that was, he was, or I don't remember if it was completely a straight bargain of this for that, but it was mentioned in the flashback where she was acquiring the temporary use of the ghost prod.
Oh yes, Vupant Dunville loaned her the prod, a tier 2 weapon that was worked against this ghost. She acquired that in a flashback, and he loaned it to her in return for information on, was it the Cult of the Silver Flame?
Yes, that sounds right.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, you fulfilled that bargain and returned to him his prod. You guys are going to get 4 coin, and that includes Dredge continuing to talk to this ghost and anything you might get elsewhere. As you're selling this occult, these weird stories and information about occult items, are you going to pay the tithe to the Dockers, which is the crime boss of your area?
I think we are. I think we're pretty content with keeping them happy.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met any of them, so that's how I like it.
Yeah, and then we also get the +2 coin for the loyal fence as well, correct? For burglary and robbery jobs.
Well, I guess it wasn't really burglary or robbery.
If not, that's fine. I mean, there's so some of the alternatives for us getting coin if we had covert drops would be espionage or sabotage style missions, but we don't have that anyways. So
okay. All right, and I think we already did heat. Yeah,
we did. Yeah, the only thing we didn't do was coin.
Okay. So when do you guys want the entanglement to trigger?
So before that happens, really quick, with regards to distributing the 3 coin, sir, you want each of us to take 1 coin, give 1 coin to the crew so that it can go up a tier?
That works for me.
Oh boy.
All right, we are officially tier 2.
Wow.
Nice.
Moving up in the world.
Indeed, that's quite a... I didn't realize you guys had a stronghold.
We did.
Ah,
We've had the stronghold for a while.
nice. So now you are tier 2 with a weak hold.
Yep.
Wow. That's a big deal. You guys have a lot of contacts and influence and power within the city. You have a lot more weight to throw around. And of course your patron, Mr. Raven, is only too glad to assist in paying... what is it? How much does he pay?
Half. So 4 coin.
Half of the cost of getting you guys up a tier. So that is going to have who knows where that will lead later on down the line.
Hang on, let me make absolutely sure that I've got that number correct. Because I keep thinking that it was 8 halved to 4, but I want to make sure.
Okay.
You know, if I can figure out where that information actually is.
You guys have somehow managed to avoid going down a tier, despite all of the action.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as I recall, we almost have a couple times, but we've pretty much expended some pretty serious effort on not doing that.
Might be.
Yeah, so never mind. 4 is definitely the wrong number. That's what it would have been if we were going up to tier 1. The normal cost in coin is equal to your new tier times 8. So it's normally 16. With the patron, it's halved to 8.
So you don't have enough coin, in other words.
Yes, we do not have enough coin yet.
Okay.
Oh, not too long, though.
Dredge has no coin to help.
That's alright.
All right.
I mean, if somebody felt like taking 8 out of their stash, then we could do that, but I'm not doing that for sure.
You know.
So yeah, still tier 1. But we do have max rep.
Very nice. Okay. So now that we've checked on that, what would you guys like to do? Do you want to do some downtime actions? Would you like to trigger the entanglement first?
I think we should do a couple downtime actions because we are super high on heat and super high on stress.
Okay. I'll let you do that. Let's start with Suri. Go ahead and take one free downtime action.
Oh, I'm definitely going to have to reduce stress at this point. I am very, very stressed.
Okay.
Excellent.
Suri, you make your way to the archives, where the Path of Echoes cult holds sway. You walk past the rows of strange objects, of bottles glowing cobalt blue, shimmering with that eerie pale glow. And the whispers. The whispers pick up. And your fellow cultists are abroad in the archives as well, walking the haunted halls and the flickering electric lights, affected by the amount of spirit energy. And your presence is noted. And then they turn away. You end up whispering to, or listening to the whispers of, someone that was alive not too long ago, no more than half a century or so, who had traveled to the far distant southern lands from which you hail, whispering of their experiences, what they remember in mad circular mutters of midnight trysts, lights on the water, of what it meant to have blood, skin, and bone. And you feel the peace entering your soul as you listen to these whispers. You see Lord Penderin in a distant hallway, almost looking like a disembodied head, as his pale face reflects the electric light and the blue glow of ectoplasmic echoes, but the black cloak in which the rest of him is shrouded hides the rest of him. This does not disturb your peace overmuch as you clear 5 of your stress. But tick-tock, Suri. Tick-tock.
Indeed. Well,
Ogre, how would you like to spend a free downtime action?
Ogre is going to start with going to visit his daughter.
All right. You send, go ahead and make your roll.
Okay.
Okay. You send a note, as agreed, to your ex-wife and ask to meet at the park. You become reasonably certain when you arrive that the new guy must be living with them or very close by, as he can be seen taking a walk around the edge of the park.
Oh, good.
Sira is delighted to see you. Mara is at least tolerating you for now. Toshette Hicks is practically glowing with how handsome he is. That devilish bastard having both his eyes.
That's what they always say. Chicks dig a guy with eyes.
I'm sure that's the only reason that she picked him.
100%.
Definitely has nothing to do with the fact that Ogre is a bit of a rage monster right now.
No, it's if he was a rage monster with eyes, she would be all over him.
Got it. Good to know.
Though
Maybe
Ogre...
he should have taken Karakon's deal.
You know, there's still 2 doses of that potion left.
Though Ogre is able to play with Sira in the electric light of the park, at one point, when Toshette Hicks is nearby, Mara does make a comment to Ogre, saying that she'll need to draw some coin soon.
What for?
She looks at you. Things we need in the house. New clothes for your daughter. Not fancy dresses, but practical clothes. She's growing every day. I'm sure you see it.
Yes, I do.
See, that was a dig about the eyes.
She seems to be almost waiting, testing to see if Ogre will respond,
Yeah.
and in what way.
Fine. You can take something out.
She nods. And you go back to playing with your daughter. But soon enough, your time is ended. Too soon.
Mm-hmm.
And as Kate, player of Suri, has to run off to take care of her own little goblin, you clear for stress. Dredge, you are clear of stress, having spent quite a bit of time not earning coin for the crew. Do you have any traumas?
Yes.
What are they?
Dredge is reckless.
Something broke within him, and he no longer cares for safety.
Yeah, if you recall, he took the cart on a cool nightmare bridge and then blacked out.
Yes, indeed. When you guys were first using the byways and pathways that no longer exist, he found another route that did not go so well. I remember that. All right.
But yeah, if I have any downtime actions to spend, I would probably spend them on talking to my new buddy and working on that long-term project that just became relevant again.
Go for it.
Cool. I forget how to do that. Is that a action roll to work on a long-term project?
It's either an action roll or a fortune roll. What long-term project are you?
The spirit block ritual, his the whole Faraday cage.
Oh.
Because it just became relevant again.
That's been relevant the entire time. It's just now you got time to actually work on it.
There was a lot of demon-based things happening for a while there. Like, we went from ghosts to demons, and now we're finally coming back around.
So I'm looking for the downtime rules, and I just found a rule that would have solved so many confusion problems from the first session through last session. Basically, I never saw this rule before, and I wish I had. Downtime flashback, pay 1 coin or 1 rep instead of stress if flashback involves downtime activity.
Oh, wow.
I did not know this rule, and it has come up almost every session since we started playing this campaign, and now I know it. Okay.
Yeah, wow.
Hey, it was 1 coin or 1 rep?
Yeah.
Instead of stress.
So it's okay.
It's the
So
same
just
thing
like
you
the
expect
normal
to get
extension
extra
there.
Downtime
Yeah.
activity. Yeah.
And you can just do them as flashbacks whenever.
Yep.
Yep, that's pretty great, and probably much more useful than actually doing like 6 downtime actions.
Possibly.
So you can just like downtime action. I did my stress thing that I suddenly need
You
to
could
have done. to avoid
downtime
trauma.
action a vice. Well, you can't undo anything. That
Right.
rule still applies. So if you
Right.
started the score with a certain amount of stress,
Right. If you went into a score with like 6 stress, because
I'm
you
not
didn't.
sure. I'm not sure that would apply because you couldn't.
You couldn't have
You
retroactively not had that much stress, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think.
But if you needed to have like a boat, we can retcon boats all day. We never need to get a boat in advance ever again.
All right.
I start to step off into the pier.
Yeah, so
and then there's a boat.
So the downtime activities, just to refresh all our memories, because I just found a really, really important rule, are acquire asset, long-term project, recover, reduce heat, train, or indulge vice. And there are other things that can cost downtime actions, but those are the standard ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, doing a ritual. Okay. So, you want to work on the spirit block.
Yep.
Alright. So, you would actually like to build a safe room.
Essentially, yeah, like a place that we could keep, sort of particularly emissive objects that might draw attention, and or like the thing that the ghost started to do when I was talking to him. You know,
That seems pretty cool to me.
the original idea was to do it as like it's an actual ritual
Yeah.
that could be performed on like the cart if we
Mhm.
needed the cart to be
Yeah.
protected.
But now you want a permanent room.
Well, the point of the research was to find the way to do it. We might use it then after the fact to construct a permanently enchanted room, essentially. But for now, it's just about figuring out how to do it.
Okay. So first you want to have the ritual.
Yeah, I want like Dredge has had this ritual special ability forever, and he
Never
just
uses it.
has never. It never comes up because the one he took is cool, but not particularly relevant all the time. Whereas I think something like
man.
this would be much more likely to come up.
Not particularly relevant. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you, but
It's just because it takes a lot of time to like have those conversations and stuff, and so in the moment it's a little. I guess now we could flashback to them all the time. Now that we know that rule.
that is true. Now that we understand that rule, we can
You're
just
like, remember that time I
flashback.
asked a demon about that thing?
Yeah, you're like, oh no, Dredge totally knows all about this. That's an excellent point. Okay, so
Anyway.
describe a little bit how Dredge goes about studying for this
So he-
ritual. What's his
he
ritual
hasn't-
source?
So he had done a little bit of research ages ago, where he had snuck into the library again.
Mhm.
And now he's got this research assistant type guy who knows some things about how ghosts can be apparently used to of underlying physical properties there
That's
that
true.
we can make use of. And so like a combination of that, and also the fact that he's now got this like particularly resonant ghost that he can like put it inside of a steel container, put it inside of a lead container, put it inside of a, you know, like he can like do experiments now and figure out, you know, what actually works. But I think it's it'd be very methodical and very diligent, and it also would involve talking to this ghost. So I think it's study. I think is what he's doing.
Right. So
So
he's
do
going
I-
to study with the aid of Gornai
Mhm.
from the bottle. Strange, ghostly whispers.
And I think when Gornai's lucid, when he's not trapped in that loop, he's gonna try to like make the case that like this will be good for you too, because then the spirit wardens won't come get you and use you to power a train.
I see. So, what does the ritual do, and how is it weird?
Oh right, the ritual creation rules. What I would like it to do is whatever that sort of mystic energy that was being released earlier that you said would like alert or ring a bell in a distant tower, like whatever principles by which that is happening, I would like this to block that.
Okay.
And how is it weird? I mean, it probably. I don't know. This is the thing I struggled with for the other ritual is like, what is weird versus creepy versus scary? So what I'm picturing is that you have to like wrap the thing in some kind of special metal, and then carve runes all over it or something.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's weird enough.
I'll accept it.
Cool.
So,
So it's
make
a
a note of
combination.
that.
It's a combination of like a Faraday cage where it's just a metal sort of contraption, but it's also got this ritual aspect and some rune based thing.
Okay. Okay. So you need to build a rune carved cage. All right.
Mhm.
Got it. And go ahead and make your study roll.
Does position and any of that matter here?
Well, it might. Because there might be some danger involved.
Yeah, there could be potential missteps and whatnot. Could get our ghost friend all worked up again. Oh, interesting. There's actually an option in position that I never noticed, which is fortune roll. So
I
if you
just
click
noticed that last session too.
that might be a new thing. Interesting.
I
So if
feel
you need
like
to
it
make a
is,
fortune
'cause
roll,
I've never seen it before, like last week or maybe the week before.
yeah, I don't remember that being there. So I guess whenever you tell us to make fortune rolls based on an ability, we should do it that way.
Okay.
Anyway.
I don't think this is particularly dangerous. So...
Controlled or just risky?
Go ahead and make a controlled roll. The effect will be standard.
Okay. Woohoo.
Nice. So that'll fill the clock.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
That was well done. I mean, having the helper guy, like that's how you finally get research done, I guess, is you need an assistant.
Okay. So, in order to perform this ritual, I'm going to ask you to take downtime activities equal to, basically based upon the size, it will cost a number of downtime activities based upon the size of the space you would like to enclose in the runic cage.
Uh-huh. So, like, the cart will take longer, obviously, than, like, a small box.
Right.
That makes sense.
It will inflict stress on you because you have to put a little bit of yourself into
So,
each
like,
rune that you
charge
carve.
the runes. Yep.
And I will have you roll a fortune roll. Whenever it is tested, because all this can do is muffle the ripples in the spirit field.
That makes sense.
It can quell some of the ripples, but it's not going to ever be watertight.
Yep. The next version will be electrified, and that's the one that'll be better.
Excellent. Now I ask, as Dredge completes his studies and realizes the secret of, do you want to call it the spirit block ritual or the runic cage?
Oh, I like the runic cage as just as a
Okay.
thing, but I'm not sure if that should be the name. I'll think about names.
As Dredge completes his studies of the runic cage ritual, what new belief or fear does this knowledge and its attendant occult forces instill in you?
I really think between this and like thinking about like oh, the spirit wardens are like always listening for ghosts and this newfound knowledge, I think Dredge is pretty convinced that the spirit wardens collect ghosts to power things. I think that he's pretty confident that there's like some conspiracy thing going on there where that's like the real purpose of the spirit wardens.
Now, does that creep him out? Does that make him afraid, or is it just a new belief and that's it?
I think that's pretty unsettling as a belief that like they're not actually like trying to protect us from ghosts. They're explicitly harvesting ghosts for essentially a resource.
And you yourself or your friends might get harvested.
Yeah, or it certainly will impede his research.
All right. Okay. You've all taken a downtime action. Would you guys like to trigger the consequences of your last score now, or would you like to continue putting that off?
Well,
does one of you have the ability to use your next downtime action to relieve some stress? Or, sorry, not some stress, some heat?
I could do that. I was thinking of doing it anyway, considering that I think that we're not doing fantastic on heat right now in regard.
Yeah, we're really doing bad on that. So, if you're gonna do that, I think we should do that first.
Do the heat first?
Yeah, clear the heat first, and then do the
Before we do entanglements, yeah, that makes sense.
Alrighty, let me take a look at my character sheet and see what I want to do.
Now, the entanglement has already been rolled. It is simply a matter of me letting you guys decide when it actually happens narratively.
Gotcha.
Yes, the Soylent Green is ghosts, Kenny. Thank you for that phrase. And thanks for coming by the stream, Kenny. Always good to have you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's another good reference for that. I was really thinking the 40K reference was on point, but yeah, Soylent Green works too.
Philosopher's Stones are made with human souls.
Yeah.
Well, that made Harry Potter way more dark.
Did you say, so was somebody looking something up?
I was just looking at my character sheet, trying to decide what I wanted to roll for disentanglement, I guess.
You cannot disentangle yourself.
Whatever.
Entanglement has already been rolled.
Whatever. I guess, my highest thing is in sway, so I'll stick with that. Now, did we level our characters up and get experience from that stuff last time? Or
yeah, we did experience.
All right, cool. I couldn't remember. All right. So I guess I'll do a sway roll. And I am going to go talk to my BFF who lent me his ghost prod. And I'm going to try and do a sway roll to convince him to not, to be a little bit cagier when he talks to people about where he's getting the information about all of these ghosts. Because any of the heat coming back to us.
Okay. Our camera zooms in on a rainy evening at a far corner of the night market, where Vupant Dunville is counting out silver coins that have been stained with some kind of dark fluid. Not blood, you hope, but maybe something worse. Go ahead and make your sway roll. This will be an action roll. It will be risky.
Interesting.
And the effect will be standard.
Okay. Devil's bargain.
Have I shown you guys an image of Vupont Dunville?
I think so.
You don't think so?
I think you did last time. I don't know if you had before that.
Was it the black guy with the mask?
No, it was not. Never mind then.
Okay. Well, it's him now. I'm just trying to get my credit to the artist. There he is.
Awesome.
Your loyal fence. Stares at you. I said the position was risky, the effect was standard. The devil's bargain will be that Vupont is safe, but you are not.
Okay. I'll take it.
Nice.
Thanks.
Okay. I think that means you clear.
3 stress. Or sorry, 3 heat.
Heat.
Nice.
I don't know why I keep saying stress.
You stressed? You're a little worried about seeing Syrah again?
A little worried about how much heat we had.
I mean, heat and stress are basically the same mechanic, right? Just one is for us and one is for the crew.
I mean, I feel like we're probably stressed about the amount of heat we have.
Bad. Call them bad points.
So you explain to Vupont that you want him to be more circumspect. And Vupont says...
Yeah, I tell him that I thank him for all of the referrals that he's been sending our way, but unfortunately, our calendar is full, and we don't want to attract the attention of any of our other competitors in the area.
Of course, I shall be keeping things on the down low. And may I say you are looking particularly pretty today. I shall tell any potential buyers that I have a very pretty seller. But I will not say who it is, only that she must be of royal or noble stock, for she dresses and speaks like a lady.
Well, I can't argue with that description.
He nods, taps his hat, and returns to counting the mysteriously stained silver coins. And over the next couple of days or weeks, you notice a slight lessening of the heat that is on the crew. It is at this point that I am going to roll for NPCs. So... Captain Willits. Captain Willits will not be chasing you down today. The Crows. What tier are the Crows?
I wonder if we've... Oh, wait, no, we didn't actually advance tiers because we're poor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would tier 2 is what the Crows are. And they control an entire district. Supposedly. The Crows will not be figuring out who took their stash today.
I still maintain it's the literal crows that are in control of that entire game.
That would possibly explain how long it's taking them to figure out who stole from them.
They saw something shiny and they've been distracted.
Ogre, please make a fortune roll with 1 die.
That's a 2.
Okay. Mara, you find that some of your investments have been pulled out. Mara has taken out a coin from your stash. 1 bag's worth of silver.
Okay.
All right. Would you guys like to do another free downtime action, or would you like to trigger the entanglement now?
I'm fine with going ahead and triggering it. It's up to you guys.
Yeah, if they've already been rolled and like the amount of heat doesn't matter, then I'd rather know what we're dealing with.
Okay. In that case, everyone roll a one dice, 1 fortune roll. None of you have any like special luck charms that you've picked up, have you?
Nope.
Good luck charms?
Spirit Bane charms are a kind of good
That
luck.
is not going to help you here.
Oh, great.
I like that we immediately got the full spread. So, one way or another, something terrible is happening.
Oh boy.
I don't know if we wanted high or wanted low, but it doesn't matter.
Suri, could you make 1 dice, please?
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
Come on, 3.
4.
Okay. Well, in the middle somewhere.
It's not a 1.
Okay. Oh boy. Ogre got a 1.
That sounds bad.
Yep.
Ogre. Normally, you train in the lair. But there are other places. Occasionally, when you want to use a special piece of equipment to build up those bulging biceps, you go to one or another dens where folk like yourself, bodybuilders,
They're
and
called
strongmen,
gyms.
and the like, hang out and lift weights, and so forth. There's a gym, yes.
24-hour fitness.
Yeah, so just so you know, my second downtime action was going to be training, because I am 1 personal XP away from getting Battleborn. So I was literally going to tell you that I was probably going to, like, some kind of sparring club or something like that.
Then the dice and I must be prescient.
Well, that's lucky that he didn't make you say it, because the first rule of sparring club is obviously that you don't talk about it.
So at Sparring Club, Ogre, you are pushing yourself. You're taking out some of that aggression, and pushing your body to its absolute limits. Training intensely. And right after a sparring session, you're lifting, you're on your back, lifting more weight than you ever have before. When you spot this guy, I just typed a name into chat, pointing, in your direction.
Oh.
Seconds later, at almost the same moment, the friendly spotter who was helping you with your weights isn't there. And instead, a fat, unshaven, slack-jawed, jowled, a jowly man, enormous, dressed in a blue coat with shiny buttons, is pressing his big ham-hock hand down on the bar that you are pushing up to lift. Your muscles trembling, you feel the sweat and actual fear involuntarily shooting through your body. He leans down over you and you smell this awful, stale piss and beer stench of the blue coat. And he says, "Aye now, quit playing around with your heavy things and come along. We've got to ask you some questions." And you are very quickly grabbed by 6 of these burly guys, each one with lower hanging double chins than the last. But there are 6 of them, and they are, hefty. Grabbing you by each limb, and you're already tired, and drag you out of the sparring club.
So, can I know where this is going, but can I spend 2 stress and activate Not to be Trifled with specifically to be able to beat the crap out of Tashet Hicks before they can subdue me?
That's a very interesting question.
Like, they're going to get me. I know that that's going to happen. I just want to be able to do this to him first. Because
all right, make an
Ogre
action roll. This is going to be an action roll.
Yeah, this is 100% Ogre being in a case of, like, he thought things were starting to get a little bit better, and then this guy rats on him the moment that he gets a chance. And Ogre is not having it.
So the thing is, what type of action is this going to be? What type of action?
Oh, absolutely skirmish. 100%. Okay. He is getting these guys off of him just for long enough for him to make sure that Tashet knows this was a mistake for him personally. And if things get worse for Ogre as a result of that, that's irrelevant to this equation.
Okay. So the effect would be 0, but it will go up to limited. And this will be a desperate roll.
Okay. That's a 5.
A 5. Okay, so Ogre, you wrench yourself with this incredible burst of power. You feel like there's this hot force just all down your spine. The rage demon taking control as you rip your way out of these fat men's grips, but only partially. Their fingers scraping along your limbs as you just rush out of their arms. You will be able you said you want to beat the crap out of him?
Yeah.
You rush up to him, and Tashet, his eyes wide, his mouth agape, you stick your finger in his mouth, and in the chaos, and just like shove his head to one side, almost ripping his cheek out with your incredible strength. He runs, and the rest of the guys quickly overpower you and just slam your head into the hard floor of the training area. So take a take a level 2 harm, light concussion.
Okay.
But Tashet is going to have a serious bruise on his face. And struggling and roaring involuntarily, you are dragged to the Blue Coat station, where they lock you up in a cell that even you cannot break out of. And begin to interrogate you. Oi, it's you that's been going around stirring up trouble, is it? We don't really like those who stir up trouble. No, we don't, do we, Ernie? No, we don't like trouble, Bert. We hate trouble. And they start fingering their blackjacks. Of course, you know what helps trouble, Ernie? No, what's that, Bert? Oh, the only thing I can think of is money. Of course, you know, with all of this trouble and all of this nastiness, right thing to do. The right thing to do. Well, the right thing to do would be to talk about where people live. Them as we want to find. Oh yeah, you're right about that, huh? You're right about that, Bert. Well, I have to say, my blackjack here needs a bit of straightening out. I wonder if there's anything I could use it on. And he kind of whacks it against the table. So it's quickly becoming clear that they want you to either give up the location of the hideout, the new hideout, or well, they either want you to pay them, or they're going to beat the location of the hideout out of you.
So if I take the beating, that's also, or they're also going to know the location, or do I have the option to resist being questioned and I just get a worse beating?
These are the Bluecoats. These are not the Spirit Wardens. These guys are not going to be reasoned with.
Yeah.
They will beat you until you tell them what they want to know. They will not hesitate. Is there an option to refuse to tell them? Not in the rulebook. I would probably inflict like a series of permanent harms. You know, this would be a life-threatening beating, and or, you know, possibly mutilate your hands or something. If they, you know from a lifetime of experience with the Bluecoats that, I mean, they're basically the meanest gang in the city. They're the police, but they're the meanest gang. Or you can pay them 3 coin.
So is this interrogation?
This is interrogation.
Okay. So then what about resisting the consequence of telling them what they want to know?
Oh yeah, that's right. That just inflicts stress. So you can resist the beating and the and telling what they want to know separately.
Okay.
So there's 2 different things there.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely not paying them.
Okay.
And I'm gonna start by resisting the heat. We'll see how much stress I'm at that point.
Okay.
But yeah, my response to them is just going to be just completely deadpan and just looking as menacing as Ogre usually does.
Well, he does have a big
officers.
yeah, he does have a big goose egg, but go ahead.
Yeah. I'm sorry, officers. You've got the wrong man. I'm just a household gardener.
I love it. So this will be this was going to be a mental resistance. Probably,
I'm guessing resolve.
Yeah, resolve.
Okay. Hey!
Wow. So
no
really,
extra stress.
Really, Ogre is extremely menacing. Even with the bruise, just adds to his general nasty look. The big goose egg lump on his face from the light concussion when they slammed him against the floor. And Ogre, you do not take any stress for not betraying your friends.
Okay.
Now, what about the other consequence, which is going to be a level 2 harm?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and resist that one as well.
Okay.
And so I guess that'll be prowess, or would that be resolve as well?
Resisting a beating. Actually, this is going to be insight. because it's not... I mean, you physically can't escape. Like, they have you chained to a metal table. So it's not prowess. And you can't, with willpower, resist getting beaten. So it's really about seeing what they want and kind of figuring out, you know, how to get out of this. And, you know, Ogre's strategy is basically admit nothing. So that's insight. It's insight to know what's going to work with these guys.
Okay. Alright, I take 4 stress, which is not great. I have a new trauma, guys.
Oh my god.
Oh, crap. I mean, I guess it's good that that didn't happen mid-score.
Yeah, that's good.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. That was stressful. Oh man, what is the new trauma gonna be?
I think he's unstable at this point. Actually, no. He's paranoid because definitely, like, he was starting to think that he was getting on better terms with Mara, and Tashette was not really giving him any trouble, and then Tashette just sold him out. And so, Ogre doesn't trust anybody at this point.
Wow. So now he is vicious and paranoid.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a winning combo.
A winning combo indeed. Alright. Amazing. I thought I had one of these guys' ugly mugs to show you as well. But sadly... imagine the guards from Dishonored. Is what we're imagining here.
Okay.
Hang on. This is, I've got it. This has all the credits on it, too. Hang on. One sec. Okay, here we go. They look like this guy. Oh, this is a big image. It's gonna take a second. There we go.
Oh.
Oh, gotcha.
So eventually, Ogre, your stoic silence and rising, intimidating glare does work, and you do manage to kind of just, you know, with sheer scary factor, convince these guys to let you go. And you make your way back to the lair with a light concussion, but otherwise, and paranoid, thinking that there's a blue coat or somebody about to betray you around every single corner.
Yeah. Also, based on that whole exchange, I was gonna get Battleborn with that downtime action because I was literally one experience away from getting my next playbook upgrade. I think after that whole exchange, I'm gonna take Savage instead.
Ooh.
Wow.
Because
I
that
love
just
that
seems
that
a lot
changed.
more fitting based on that particular moment.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Ogre's a scary dude.
Does Ogre have points in command? Because
Yeah. He does. That's his best way of talking to people.
All right.
Whisper has a same thing as Battleborn as well that I can take. It's a pretty cool use of the special armor thing to let you push yourself and whatnot.
Cool.
Cool. So, Ogre's back at the lair with a new goose egg on his head. We just did a lot with Ogre. Do you mind if we do Dredge's next free downtime action next?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of rolled my second downtime action into that as well. So.
Oh yeah, you kind of did, didn't you? You were training.
Yep.
That's right, and that's how you got Savage, of course. Although, don't forget, you did have a desperate roll.
Yep, I got that as well.
Dredge, what is your free downtime action?
So I would like to help with our heat. Do we have a vague sense of like? Go ahead.
Don't forget to add the Spirit Block ritual into your rituals list.
Is there actually a place for a rituals list, or
I don't know.
I just put a bunch of stuff in my notes on my character sheet.
Whatever works.
Yeah, so I was thinking, like, in keeping with that theme, like, I don't know if it's a full actual, like, perform the ritual or not, but, like, making the marks associated with the ritual, like, all around the hideout to try to make the hideout stand out less. Because we do have kind of a lot of, like, ghost shit going on, and crazy artifacts.
Especially this orb.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if, like the downtime action to perform the ritual versus, like, a downtime action to just roll to reduce heat. Like, I'd like to just reduce heat somehow.
Okay.
But, like, story-wise, I think what it is that he's kind of, like, going around and, like, you know, etching these runes, like, on door jambs and things around our little office complex here.
So he's just going to have a general kind of dampening of the spirit.
Right. It's less
field.
of the, like cage effect and more of just a general sort of...
Now, is he going to leave some areas open so that he can...
What,
you know,
like, go up on the roof and pick up weird signals?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that he would focus mainly on... Because he also doesn't want to produce, like, a big dead zone that would, like, attract suspicion, you know? So I would think he would really just kind of focus on, like, some certain rooms to kind of, you know, tweak a little bit to be less noisy than they are right now with all the craziness.
Okay. So certain rooms in the abandoned clerk's office complex that you guys have taken over as your lair are now...
Yeah, I like the idea of him
dampened
just
in
kind
the
of
spirit
wandering
field.
around and carving things into, like, doors and, you know,
And with
furniture.
each carving you give a little of yourself. Like a lighter version of this ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Sure.
Or would you actually like to perform the ritual?
Well, so that's... I'm like, trying to phrase a downtime action to reduce heat as narratively being, like, a lighter form of the ritual, but...
Okay. Then it will be an action roll.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yes, I'm guessing attune. No, go ahead.
Actually, it's just going to be a fortune roll, but it will induce some stress.
Sure. Fortune roll based on attune or just a set number of dice?
Based on attune. And you will take 1 stress automatically from this.
So I tried to do a attune roll. I set it to fortune to see what this actually does, but it still asks for the effect. Should I just leave it standard and see what happens?
I am not familiar with how it works on your guys' character sheets.
Yeah, this
So
is like a
someone
new
else
UI
knows.
thing.
They may have added a new feature that's not completely...
Well, It let me
Oh.
just roll attune with 3 dice, which
That's great.
it didn't really save. It didn't say fortune roll though, so I think the other fortune roll thing is probably the better way to do it still.
Although
so that
that's
doesn't
interesting
look like
that it
a-
works that way.
Yeah, and I guess it doesn't show either of the position or effect.
Well, the good news is you reduce 2 heat.
Yeah.
So whatever sensitives are around are not picking up quite as much of
Yeah,
the
just let
recent
the office
stolen items.
fade back.
As
Fade
they
back
were.
into the background noise of the city, kinda, a little bit.
At
Not
least a little bit.
not a dead zone, just
But-
a little bit less of a shining beacon, like it was.
Of course, with this lighter form of the ritual, it's only temporary.
Which is probably why our heat will start going back up soon.
All right. Would any of you like to purchase additional downtime actions at this time?
Ogre definitely would.
Okay.
He's going to spend some rep, and he's gonna get some healing from Dredge. I'm sorry, from Blend.
I was gonna say, is that a thing
Yeah.
Dredge can do? I can try. Kind of get in there and mess around.
Okay.
Well, Dredge might be helping with this because one of my harms is that I got hypothermia by having a ghost pierce my chest with his hands.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
So
And they came back almost dead from the canal thing, but then that was all healed through demons and other stuff.
Yeah, I think the counter to Ghost Cold is probably Fire Demon related anyway. So
There you go. We'll just have Karakon stab you, and then you'll be fine.
yeah.
you know what? Maybe I'm just gonna stick with whatever craziness Blend offers me.
Whatever cream.
So we are kind of getting into the it's a bit silly point where we have a PC physicker
Just
who
is
is
around to
never
heal us.
here and
What do you-
just makes heal rolls.
Have I not introduced you to my other 6 characters that just generate coin?
So I am going to say this works one last time, but Blend is off on their own adventures, and you can acquire a physicker, an NPC physicker, as an asset. And then that will allow us to have an NPC in the story who actually participates and isn't just a heal bot that I don't want to mess with because I don't want to make my friends sad.
Okay. Fair enough.
So this will work one last time. So I'll roll 46.
How do we go about making an NPC? Is that acquire an asset or something?
Yes. Acquire assets. You can acquire an NPC physicker as as an associate of Rare Imports.
Can
I
we
got a
acquire
6.
people to do other things too?
Yes, you can. You could, for example, acquire a gang of thugs to do some job for you.
I'm looking for more research partners. The first one's been working out real well.
You absolutely could do that. Actually, That is now, since you guys are keeping him, he is an asset.
Nice.
I don't know if there's a place to fill these things in on the crew sheet, but he's an asset. The Orb of Fate is an asset.
Is it?
The
Oh, I don't know. It's been a lot of
Jade
trouble.
Urn is an asset, and the Play is an asset.
We should probably put the orb on the urn and see what happens.
Most of these are assets that you acquired as part of a score, so they didn't require an acquire asset downtime action.
Yeah, we do also have assorted occult texts.
There you go.
I've
See,
been-
that's another asset.
Yeah, I've been
Do you know
generally
where
keeping
you got
track
those
of-
from?
We got those also, or that was in the same thing as the play.
Okay,
When-
so it was
yeah.
from the Skullblender refugee cache.
Yeah, we
Make sure that's
specifically-
recorded.
yeah. Okay, I'll add that in.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, we specifically did not sell. We sold some of the occult texts, but we saved some for Dredge's perusal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's just a shelf somewhere that's like creepy book, ghost, creepy book, skull, creepy book. You know.
We should probably add
Vase of
your loyal fence as a new contact
Oh yeah.
on the crew sheet as well. They should put an asset like field on the crew sheet.
Yeah, they should. I've been making pretty liberal use of the notes section.
Yeah, I mean, I think
My-
you have
my notes
to.
section is huge on my character sheet now.
Oh, at least it has a, at least it has a red on white, funky font.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 coin, and I'm going to boost the effect of that physical roll to a critical. So
Okay.
both my hypothermia and my light concussion are now a level 1 harms, and I am 1 healing away from eliminating them completely.
Nice. So, I don't know if you recall, Matt, but just to remind you, we have a house rule in place now where whenever you remember to apply your harms, you get a tick on the heal clock after the roll, after the action is resolved.
I remember. I actually just realized that I did not apply my harm.
Yeah, see, that's why. That's why we
Yep.
have that house rule. Okay. So that was interesting. I'm not going to bother to describe the healing that Blend does to you. It's something quite disturbing.
Naturally.
Involving splints and leeches.
Now, I'm just picturing one really big leech being used as a splint.
Absolutely. Okay. I think. Does anyone have any downtime actions they want to purchase immediately?
Nope.
Okay. Well, let's take a quick break. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Ogre actually has 1 more, but it's really fast. I'm gonna do 1 more thing of training to get my prowess ranked up.
Okay. So you run through the obstacle course. Because apparently you haven't had enough training.
He goes back to that
This
same
time,
gym.
yeah, this time I'm not going back to the gym.
Gotcha.
No way I'm going back to that gym.
Gotcha. So let's take a quick break, just a couple minutes. And when we return, It will be time for the crew of Rare Imports to start working on their next score, whatever that may be.
Okay.
Alright, I'll see you guys back in a couple minutes.
Yep.
And I'll mute this. I have returned.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello. All right. Hmm. I don't think any of you gave me theme songs for this game, for these characters.
I don't think so. I don't know if you've or uploaded my theme song for Bella yet, though.
I'm 80% sure I have. She just hasn't rolled a critical.
Yeah, okay, well, fine.
It sounds like you guys are all there, so yeah, I'm back too.
Sweet. Okay, let's get back into game here. So, you've taken your free downtime actions. Some exciting stuff has happened. Ogre still has a bit of a mark on his head, and the lingering effects of the ghost-induced hypothermia. I don't know what other harms people have. Actually, if you wouldn't mind telling me, Dredge, what do you have?
So, Dredge still has his burned fingers from the lightning accident.
Yes.
Which at this point in game is a long time ago, but he just hasn't been dealing with it.
Yikes. He might have a little, starting to get a little nerve damage there. Nasty. What about Suri?
Yeah, I'll try to remember.
My harms?
Yeah, do you have any?
Well, if you'll recall... Oh, no, I guess I do have hypothermia. It's only a level 1 harm. I forgot about that. I was like, I got rid of all my harms, but I didn't. I got it.
Oh, that one came after. Okay. The time has been rolling around. You guys have been doing lots of things in your downtime. But it's getting to be time to move on your next score. So, as you guys gather around in the lair, more relaxed or not than you were before, with your various things going on in your personal lives, you need to put that aside for the moment and serve the criminal enterprise you are all a part of. What do Dredge, Ogre, and Suri, the leaders, for the moment, of Rare Imports, discuss as they gather to discuss their next score?
Well, I'm really going to push for going and finding out about... we now have 2 pretty solid leads on this ghost that I'm supposed to find, and I really don't want to get kicked out of my cult, you guys. I don't have a backup cult.
That's as great a motivation as I've ever heard.
At least you're finally willing to call it a cult.
I just wanted to make sure that we all understood what I was talking about. So, I have never met this person whom we are supposed to play cards with, but apparently you know him, Ogre. And if not,
Well,
I could go meet with my friend and ask him if he would introduce me to all of his relatives.
I'm less sure about the connection with Clinchamp, given that the ghost said that the original Clinchamp sold the hands. So I'm not sure that that's going to be of much use. But Pendrin might know something.
I would be surprised and interested to learn that he did, considering that He is the one who told me that he did not know where this ghost was. Nevertheless, he might know the person who owns the ghost and simply not be aware that it's in their possession, for whatever reason.
Just looks like a weird box, right?
As far as I know. I haven't really seen the box. I mean, I saw a vision of it, but not in very much detail.
Dredge, could you use your occult connections to find out some more information about this?
Should we just flash back to having, like, a more detailed conversation with, our good friend in the bottle about what it looks like?
Certainly.
Kept calling it, what did he keep calling it? Like, grotesque or something?
Hideously carved.
That's what it was. So, what was so hideous about it?
I mean, I didn't really see anything.
Back in the other room, where Dredge's experimental rune cage was all laid out.
Are you cutting out for anyone else, or just me?
I think it's just you.
Okay, looks like my Wi-Fi signal got bad and then got better again, so hopefully we'll be okay.
Send this man an Ethernet cable.
Oh, I have a 100-foot Ethernet cable sitting on my desk. I'm just trying to decide if I really want to run it through the whole house.
Yeah, that's how I lived my life, in our old place. Okay. Can you hear me right now?
I can.
Okay. Back in the room where Dredge's experimental rune cage is all laid out with bits of raw metal here and there, imbued with pieces of something, souls perhaps. In the cobalt blue glow of the bottle, the ghost whispers of this box that so disturbed Gurnai in life.
It was carved. It's almost indescribable. Like a thing from the bottom of the sea. Twisting organic shapes, but not with any sense to them. Nothing discernible in their horribly twisting lines. Nothing natural about those shapes. It was hard to tear one's eyes away from. I stared at it in the funeral home as that courier, Pritchard, carried it away.
Great.
Did you hear that?
Yep.
Okay.
Box can't be described. Got it.
There was more than that.
And then we knew it was a Penderin, or the Penderin that you talked to?
Different Penderin.
Okay.
Which makes some... I mean, like, when I attuned to it, it seemed to imply that it was quite far away from us, which The sense I got from that was that it might not even be in the city. I would be surprised to learn that it was in a place that was not only within the city, but also quite reasonably familiar to me, or at least with a person who's quite familiar to me. So, yeah.
Well, you might, I guess, I ask him if he has any weird cousins.
I'll lead with that.
So, is the flashback over?
Yeah.
Okay. So we flash forward. You guys are having the rest of this discussion, remembering what happened with the ghost. You are discussing this around the table in the center of the lair.
So Surrey is going to ask Lord Pendrin if he has any information. Do we have any other possible ways to try to chase it down?
Other than possibly asking this card.
Sorry, you broke up there.
Okay, so
Asking the card player.
Oh.
I'm not sure you guys are breaking up so much as letting go of the push-to-talk button too soon.
I was definitely losing network at one point, so that's...
Well, you're a
my
special
problems are
case.
different. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, because I heard the same thing with Corey and Kate. Like the end of a word was cut off. But let's just move on.
Yeah, I'll sometimes let go while I'm still talking. I do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for dealing with the push-to-talk.
I'm less convinced that the card game, or the dice game, will give us much information if it was sold long enough ago that the ghost knows about it. But yeah, I think Pendrin's our best shot for now.
All right.
Trying to track him metaphysically will just lead us back to our friend there in the next room.
Are you sure you can't do something like tying that ghost to Bliss in order to get some kind of... I don't know. You're the expert here. My point is, we have a ghost that's close to Bliss. Can we use that in some capacity?
His proximity to us, it will drown out the less strong signal of the Bliss's ghost.
I see. Okay.
Perhaps if we can find where this other Pendrin is, we could take a reading there instead. Or I could shield our friend and take a reading, but it will take time and possibly resources.
Then let's start with talking to Pendrin.
All right. Can I get the first name of the other Lord Pendrin again?
Yes. That was... I'll paste it into chats. Lord Ligonier Pendrin.
Yeah, he sounds like somebody's weird cousin.
Definitely.
Cousin Liggy.
Liggy.
Well, also didn't these people die like a couple 100 years ago or something like that?
Well, yes, but presumably Lord Penderin will know who his cousin was.
Our
I'm
camera.
saying-
No, go ahead.
I'm just saying, it might not be a cousin. It might be an ancestor.
Our camera cuts, smash cut, to Lord Penderin's office. In a very different part of town. Far more extravagant. The gold-covered carriages lie outside, and the same motif is repeated indoors, layering everything with this almost over-the-top extravagance. And our camera, as we zoom in on Suri and Lord Penderin, he is saying, with that cold gaze, unflinchingly staring at Suri, "I do? That was my great uncle. What of him?"
I would like to choose this moment to activate my demon eyes and see what Lord Penderin's greatest weakness is.
Well, they're hard to turn off. But the scalding gaze burns over Lord Penderin. Unusually, his icy eyes do not turn away from yours, but narrow slightly as your gaze trawls over him. And you realize his greatest weakness is his love for his wife. And a certain fear for, and perhaps of, her.
Well, I'm gonna feel like a real asshole if I use that. Alright,
Your gaze is pulled against your will to a pen on the desk. You're breaking contact with Lord Penderin. He seems to grow eye contact with Lord Penderin. He seems to grow a little impatient, leaning forward. What of it, milady Suri? Your gaze, although you would very much like to see what expression he is making, is instead focused on this pen. There's something strange about it. The symbols pressed into the lead and silver that mark it are odd, disturbing, ancient. Something that Gurnai would probably call indescribable. They seem to wriggle, the markings on this pen, under your gaze, as if boiling under your scalding eyes. You can feel the demon, another presence, looking out through your eyes and taking a special note of what is going on, and you sense enjoying, forcing you to look away.
I say, yes, of course, I couldn't help but be distracted by that remarkable... Anyway, and who wound up being the inheritor of his estate, if you don't mind my...
Inheritor?
Indeed.
Lord Ligonier Penderin. had no heirs to speak of. His house lies destroyed out in the Deathlands, along with his unusual collection. Now I ask you again, and please don't turn away. What of it? Why do you inquire about my family? What is your motive?
I have reason to believe, based on the research that I've been doing into the little matter that you asked me about, that the ghost of Bliss was, in fact, acquired by your uncle.
That would be illegal. Nonsense.
Well,
His expression doesn't change, however, and he's not putting as much force into that declaration as into his other words.
I would like to take this moment to remind the DM of my ability to always tell when somebody is lying to me.
He is lying.
Yeah.
He does not think it is nonsense. But you almost feel like something is clicking behind those cold, white-gray eyes.
I say, yes, well, perhaps he wasn't aware of the exact nature of the artifact which he acquired. Nevertheless, he did buy it, and that is the next lead that I have. I thought perhaps, while I would certainly not expect you to be in the possession of such a thing without knowing of it, perhaps it is possible that these sorts of things can be masked or hidden from even the most perceptive. But since you say that his entire collection has been lost in the Deathlands, I suppose there's no chance that you took a strange box, hideously carved, before his... well, at any point?
Lord Penderin cranes his neck with a peculiarly eagle-like motion, tilting it slightly to one side. He seems to be calculating what and how much to say. He says, "Not much was recovered before the lost district was lost. I am certain that now that you have this information, your project will soon be completed."
I have hopes. I suppose that depends on whether he still had it in his possession when his house was lost.
I would deem it likely. It was a very grand collection, by all accounts. One I was able to see once. I have many other appointments today, Miss Sori. Is there anything else?
One question, if you'll permit me.
Are we there?
You are now.
Okay.
Were there any
I
other...
open my bag. Ogre jumps out.
Were there any other artifacts in that collection that were of any particular interest? If we were to recover this spirit, we may have an opportunity to collect some extra items.
You sense Ogre, having seen it on many rich folks' faces many times, that were this man not so much the master of his face, his scarred lip would curl in slight revulsion. He says, "That sounds like work for scavengers. But if you are inquiring whether any family heirlooms would be of interest, then yes. Anything that bears the Penderin family crest." He gestures at many gold crests displayed on the walls, desks, and chairs in his study. Yes, the return of such things from the Lost District would be appreciated. Now, if you guys want to get more out of him, I will ask you to make a gather information roll. So far, he hasn't, there hasn't been anything that he said that would require such a roll. But you might ask a question.
For you.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Lost District, is that like a well-known thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me. You guys are not on the normal map, so let me. It is in the handouts, however. The map of Duskvol. Show to players. Here we go. If you check number 2, is the Lost District.
Oh, right, that's coming back to me now.
You see, there was a lightning barrier. A quick bit of Duskvol history. There was a lightning barrier that capped out the ravages of the Deathlands centuries ago, millennia ago. But over time, the magics built by the Immortal Emperor began to fade, and a new lightning barrier was built much closer in. And so the city shrank. And it is the newer lightning barrier that you guys now enjoy the protection of. But in the process, the Lost District was abandoned to the Deathlands.
So is Suri's initial thing about it being far away, is that far away in that same sense?
It would certainly jive with what Suri's attune roll got her. Now, keep in mind, Suri was allowed to make an attune roll because she was holding a piece of writing from the ghost in question, from Thaintree Kesserin, and standing in a place that was important to him in life.
Sure.
So that's how she got that.
Information is consistent,
Mm-hmm.
not misleading. Okay. I like this part where it says, contains many lost treasures for the foolhardy to seek out. Let's go do that.
That's where the Deathlands scavengers go.
Maybe we could add foolhardy to our list of adjectives.
He looks away from your less well-dressed friends, and back to you, Suri.
Does he say anything, or he just stares at me?
He stares at you.
I say, well, then in that case, thank you for your assistance, and hopefully I will be back with Mr. Kesserin very soon.
I don't know what you're speaking of, but I hope your project meets with success.
Alright, well, I take my leave.
You make your way through the layers of servants, footmen, butlers, and so forth, all of whom kind of eye you guys very carefully to make sure you didn't somehow lift any of the gold and silver furnishings that cover what feels like almost every square inch of this marble mansion.
I'm picturing someone served us. I'm picturing someone served us tea at some point, and Dredge has been just noisily drinking it, like slurping the whole time.
They regret giving you cookies with your tea. But they collect the teacup on the way out. It was very good tea, though.
But it was too hot.
So, back at the lair, armed with new information, what is Rare Import's next move?
Road trip?
I think we need to have a conversation with our friends and the scavengers. See if they can get us away through the lightning barrier.
Yes, I think that is a very good move.
Somehow I don't think our ghost echoes will find us a path through the thing specifically designed to stop ghosts.
It's always better to have a plan B.
Remember Dolo. That's dark to you guys. Remember Dolo.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
From the very first score. You guys, our camera now cuts to a bar. Where Dolo and his gang of scavengers are noisily drinking, being a little bit too loud, as the Deathland scavengers often are when they come back from a walk through the Deathlands. A hunt. As if to shake off the feelings of doom and death, any remnants of ghosts, by being especially alive and loud. And Dolo, however, is giving you his customary worried frown, and is saying, well, that does sound interesting and all. I guess you'll be... But, I guess you'll be wanting some kind of directions then.
Exactly. And I think at this point it would be safe to say that we would gladly allow anything except the box to be picked up by whoever happened to see it first.
Oh, aye? He looks around. Lots of these fellows are pretty close to working off their debt to society. Probably don't want to be scavenging no more. And I find my spirit has been heavily weighed down of late as well. But I might be able to give you some pointers, if that's what you're asking.
Whatever you're willing to give will be appreciated.
I don't know about the ruined house of an occult collector, but it does sound like that might be a bit dangerous. More so than even the rest of the Deathlands.
There are ways that we have of keeping ourselves safe. And, of course, again, if anyone did wish to accompany us to try their luck there, we would be more than happy to offer them the services of protection while they were in our company.
Right. So you're looking for a guide then?
As I said, whatever help we can get.
Well, I don't know if you'll be able to find anyone who's likely to be of too much use. Folks like myself with lots of experience only tend to go out when we have our own jobs and crew, when it's necessary. And those others might not be of much use to you. Still, I think that I might be able to help you out. Go ahead and make a gather information roll.
There's definitely going to be sway, I think.
Alright. Then make a sway roll. This will be controlled, and the effect will be standard.
Devil's bargain?
The Devil's Bargain.
He wants a piece of the pie.
That's pretty good.
Is he okay with goat pie?
That's the Devil's Bargain. He wants a cut. He'll want a tithe of the profits.
Alright, I'll take it.
Alright.
And there's a 5.
The most interesting possible result. Although when it's, yeah, it is. Okay, now this is a gather information roll. So, what is he going to tell you? Dolo. Dolo is pretty experienced, so there's a lot of things he can tell you. He will tell you, first of all, if you're wanting a guide that is likely to be experienced and someone who is willing to go out again when they don't have to, you're probably looking at Lady Thorn or somebody that she works with. She's a bit kinder than a lot of the other folks who venture out. And of course I'd go myself if the pay was good enough. He kind of raises an eyebrow. But essentially, you're looking at generators to power your lightning hooks, gas masks, air tanks, any kind of protective suit, and goggles, and then any other gear that'll help you survive in the Deathlands.
As he's listing all of these things off, Suri just looks at Dredge.
What if anything, does Dredge actually know about the Deathlands? I'm kind of surprised you need gas masks.
There's a lot more dangers than just ghosts. Think of it as like an atom bomb of ghosts went off in the spirit field. So there's all kinds of fallout.
But like, are there also like earthly poisons and things that the gas masks are for, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Or there can be.
Yeah.
You know, there can be clouds of foul vapors that can be created by the ghosts, by spirits, or other things worse than ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, so Dredge is looking noticeably concerned about all this, and is, I guess, doing some back-of-the-envelope math about, like, supplies and whatnot as well.
Okay. He says, you've got to watch for possession. Those that get possessed, you either learn to deal with it, or you go mad and vanish into the darkness of the wastes. Some adapt better than others. I myself have been possessed a handful of times. And hardly affects my nightmares at all.
Well, that's very comforting.
Well, sorry if it's not comforting, son, but people don't usually go into the Deathlands by choice. It's usually because they're convicts and likely to be executed otherwise. But I'm getting pretty close to my pardon, and if something were to push me over and set me up afterward, that would be awfully nice. I think I know the region, the area that you're looking for, and I can give you some general directions, but things were always shifting around in the wastes, and it's easy to get your maps wrong. I'd say, well, like I said, I can point it out to you on an old map, and oh wow, thanks, Leo. Leo just that's my first donation.
Hey, awesome.
Oh, thanks, Leo. You're awesome. Wow. It's going to I'm gonna use that for Roll20 things. It's gonna be put to good use. And he says you're going to want to watch out for something that folks have been saying they've seen haunting that area. They call it the Screaming Lion. He shivers.
And what exactly is this Screaming Lion?
Probably nothing more than a hallucination from overstressed minds.
Yes, you seem convinced.
But they say they say it's the they say it's the bastard brother of a demon, and is a kind of a large glowing shape. Like a lion, you know, from the Dagger Isles.
I'm familiar.
And they say it screams as it runs along. They say it's huge, way bigger than even the man-eaters from the Dagger Isles. Probably just scavenger stories, you know, but nevertheless, I'd say if you're in that area with all that occult stuff from before it was the Deathlands, well, maybe if you hear a screaming sound coming from around a corner, you can just take off and run.
I see. Well, it is unfortunate that it sounds like everyone will be so reluctant to come with me. This is a very personal mission of mine, and I would be willing to pay the right person if they felt confident that they could get me where I wanted to.
So he does tell you how to find the place, and describes the area as ruined, and of course has told you about the screaming lion. Do you have any, Suri? Were you speaking to your friends or to him?
To him.
In that.
Very much to him.
He says, well, like I said, if the pay is good enough, I could be a guide.
What would it take to convince you?
Well, considering we're heading into an area that, you know, folks have said that they haven't necessarily met with much success in, and it sounds like there might be good stuff there. I don't think I would be out of line to ask for 3 bags of silver.
Holy shit. Done.
His eyes go wide. Oh. Well, all right then. You, I'll show you the way, and I'll even keep a lookout for you when we get there.
be greatly appreciated. Speaking of the protective gear that you recommended, is there a particular place you recommend getting that from? Or
Well, since you're paying me, I'll help you acquire it. We can't take, you know, what the state gives to gives to the scavengers, since this is our own little venture. But I certainly know where the stuff is made, and can get you anything you want to pick up.
excellent.
All right. Well, I'll help you out then, and we'll make sure we slip out through the lightning barrier safely.
Awesome.
All right. So, if you guys don't have any other follow-up questions for Dolo, then we will probably call it here and start the score next time. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Indeed.
Excellent. All right. Well, we are going to be turning off the stream here, folks. Thank you all so very much for joining us. The man with no screen name, Kenny earlier, anyone who is watching this, much appreciated. And Leo, my man, supporting the stream, so we can keep doing this and make it more and more awesome. Thank you. You're an amazing, amazing person. All right, folks. Turning it off now, and thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye. Oh, and thank you to my players, Matt, Corey, and Kate.
Thank you for running it. This has been fun.
Yep.
All right. Bye-bye. Good night.
All right. Good night, everybody.